Peace and power, family. Welcome to another episode of Real News. And we're here with some powerful people who I have the pleasure of knowing here in the city of Houston, the Southeast Texas Brown Berets and the Houston chapter. And so there's been so much that's been going on in our communities and just across the nation. And when it comes to our Chicano brothers and sisters, Latino, and whatever uh, you want to call them. There's so many people that identify so many different ways. So I want to respect everybody. But we've been dealing with so much in the community. We've been dealing with ICE and the deportation. So we really want to tap in with them. I have my brown on, showing my solidarity. I love this brother and sister right here. And so any chance that I can, because I'm also doing work in the community, I try to support them. And so without further ado, I want to let my sister go first and introduce herself.
Hey everybody, I'm Gina with the Southeast Tejas Brown Berets. I've been a beret going about 5 years almost, 4.5, based out of Houston. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Hello, my name is Willie, aka Chili Willie. I'm a founding member of the Southeast Texas Brown Berets. Remember, a founding member. There was a few founders, just to make it clear, because you know how it is with people. So I'm one of the founding members of the Southeast Texas Brown Berets. Also, a founding member of La Mesa Nacional de Brown Berets and a founding member of the Tejas Coalition. And it's an honor to be here, sister. And I appreciate the invite. And I appreciate the work you've done, and I appreciate walking with you on marching down in Fourth Ward, and appreciate
Yeah,
the charity representing that black and brown unity. Got to.
yeah, absolutely. And just like he said, I had the pleasure, was that last year, December 2024, I think that was the 10th anniversary of the Chicano Mortuarium. And so I was able to march with y'all in our self-determination march. The Brown Berets have been able to march with some organizations in Houston for Carl Hampton Jr. And so I love that we can continue to show that solidarity in the city of Houston. And so my first question that I want to ask to you, Brother Willie, is for the people who are listening, for the ones who are unfamiliar about the Brown Berets, can you just give a little bit of history about who the Brown Berets are, um, and what the Southeast Texas chapter represent?
I'm gonna give a bit of history because we could be here a good while just talking about the history, the beginnings for a good while. So the Brown Beret started in East LA, East Los Angeles, California, in 1967 by a group that was known before as Chicanos for Community Action, or young Chicanos for Community Action, which they started wearing brown berets, and it was actually the it was actually the cops that gave them the name Brown Berets. So they started in 1967 due to, at that time, the police brutality that was that they were going through. Uh, a few of these founders were lowriders. They would cruise the Whittier Boulevard and they would get harassed and they would get beat up by the cops. So they felt it was time to organize. So that's where the Brown Berets started. So from then on, the Brown Beret movement spread out through all the Southwest. So the Houston chapter started like in 1972, the original chapter. This is before our chapter. Started in 1972, but that chapter didn't last probably about 5 years. I have to give it to them and give them their respect. Those founding members, I only got to meet one of them. Both of them are passed over now. They were two editors for a newspaper that was in Houston. It was called Papel Chicano. It was a Chicano newspaper, revolutionary newspaper at the time. So there were two editors for that paper. So they founded the original Houston Brown Beret chapter. we started 2013 is when we got together, and
Okay.
there needed to be we were like before that, where the Brown Berets at? Hey, man, we need a chapter of Brown Berets in Houston, man. There's so much going on. So a group of us, we took a trip to San Antonio and got a blessing from the San Antonio Brown Berets at that time. It was probably like about five of us, but
Okay.
I'm the only one left from that group that's still around. But yeah, that. 2013, and we've been here. Somebody's been representing Southeast Texas Brown Berets ever since. If it's not me, it's Gina. So carried on. But that's the small history, a small rundown of the history of us, the original East LA chapter and the Southeast Texas Brown Berets. We honor, this is our very own patch here, the Southeast Texas region. But we honor them in this patch, and Gina has
Yeah.
one of her beret. So
Yeah.
the original La Causa, the new the birth. It was called the birth of a new symbol back when it. So yeah.
Man, that's cool, man. That's powerful, and again, that's history that people don't know. That's, and me as an educator, that's some things I try to, bring into the classroom and let them know, it's if we don't continue to talk about it and teach it like we're doing right now, it's going to be forgotten about. So thank y'all so much for continuing the legacy.
Now, let me add on to this. Yeah, the Black Panthers were an inspiration as well at that time, as well was the farm workers movement led by Cesar Chavez. A lot of what we use, the words we use like La Causa, that came from the farm workers movement. So they inspired big time. The Black Panthers did too. The Black Panthers at that time and the Brown Berets sat down and they had to sit down and say, we'll always back each other up. We'll always stand in solidarity. So the solidarity between the Black Panthers and the Brown Berets goes back to then. And we're upholding that today.
Absolutely. And man, I only wish I was, born at that time, to even see that going on, because I've been able to see some powerful images, from back in the day. I'm just like, man, that's so powerful. And so we're gonna get back into that shortly as we get into this conversation. Go ahead.
Talk about that.
What you say?
I said we need to talk about that, but I think we're gonna
we're gonna talk about that. But one thing I want to get into, as far as Houston is concerned, Houston has its own Chicano history, including in 1970 the Chicano Moratorium, which we talked about, and the killing of Joe Campos Torres. So I would love to know more about that too as well.
Okay, so the Chicano Moratorium was a national movement. So on July 27th or 27th, okay, don't quote me on the date, but it's one of those.
They say 26 with the day of Carl Hampton, right? That's the same day of Carl Hampton Jr.
Yeah, you're right.
Assassinated.
July 26, 1970, there was a Chicano moratorium here in Houston, as well as in other parts of the Southwest. Austin had one the same day, one in Northern California. They all happened on that day. But the main one happened on August 29th, 1970, little over a month later. Okay. So this is a national movement. So all these different moratoriums that went on before the main one, they were all involved. And they all attended the one in August 29th, 1970. It was a national movement. It was against the war in Vietnam, against, standing in solidarity with the farm workers. All the issues that were going on then, that's what the moratorium was about. To bring the issues up that are affecting the Chicano community. So Houston had one on July 26, 1970, in the barrio of Magnolia. And it was I heard over 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And they said grandmas, abuelitas were coming out their houses, coming off their porches to march. It was big. There's actually footage on YouTube of it. There's no sound, but there's footage of this march. You can go to YouTube and look up Houston Chicano Moratorium, and you'll see it. A clip, maybe a 3-minute clip of the Chicano Moratorium. It ended in a Mexican park, aka Hidalgo Park.
Okay.
But that's some strong history, and at the same
time, I have to look that up.
Yeah. And at the same time, Carl Hampton was assassinated while this was going on.
Yeah.
Carl was assassinated by HPD. That's why that day is significant to our Black brothers and sisters and our community. That's significant. Yeah. We've talked about that in person.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. And one more question I got for you, since we're on the history, as you being, one of the founders, and I don't know how old you are, but I want to call you my elder. You have so much wisdom. When you see young organizers like Gina and the other ones who are coming up, um, what do you believe they should be studying or applying to their daily lives today?
I think studying is a part of being a revolutionary. You got to read your books. You got to read what happened to us in the past.
Yeah,
And apply
yeah,
to happening today, because the elders set the path for us. We just got to keep it going. You got to keep that fight going. And what I see with a lot of I don't want to say younger people. I'll just say revolutionaries in general.
hmm
They want to rewrite the book. It's already been written. The struggle's there. We just got to keep on adding, keep on applying to that. You know, uh, and that's what I want to recommend to all revolutionaries to do that. Keep reading, keep learning, learn your indigenous knowledge, because our indigenous ancestors were scientific too. You know,
Yeah,
even
that's
what is
right.
democracy comes from, the Iroquois. They a lot of indigenous tribes believe in democracy. To say they weren't scientific and they didn't have the knowledge to run their communities is
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, it's true.
Because we could look back, and a lot of Karl Marx, they look to our ancestors, to get their knowledge and
Yeah,
paper. So we could do the same thing. We could read
true.
Karl Marx, read Engels, read Mao, but also apply the way
It's
our
true.
ancestors, their knowledge, which is really scientific. It was they they thrived. They thrived on the land. They shared.
It's true.
Worked together. And so I think that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, it's a movie that I love to show because I work in Aldine
Mm.
ISD, and so the majority of the kids that I teach are Chicano students or ones who have just came into the country, and so I show them movies like Stand and Deliver. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? And it's one part that he said that sticks out to me. He was like, "Come on." He's like, "It's already in you. Your ancestors, they did this already. They were mathematicians. Come on." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if they understand what's being said there, but like it's already in you. So I appreciate you, brother, really, and everything that you have to offer in your wisdom.
Let me recommend one more movie.
Yeah.
What was the movie we saw the other day, Selena? Walkout. Walkout shows you that's where the Brown Berets got one of their starts, with the walkouts that happened in
Okay.
'97 in East LA. You could find it on, what do we see it on? Prime or Hulu. I think you can also get it off YouTube, but I recommend that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see the Brown Berets are on there. That's one of the first causes the Brown Berets stood for, was the high school walkouts of 1967 in East Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
recommend, highly
rock
recommend.
out, y'all. Okay, on Prime and Hulu.
Yeah, or you can watch it on YouTube. YouTube's gonna charge you like $3 to watch it. Man, I stay emotional watching that movie. I can't control myself. The tears just come
I'm gonna
down.
check it out. Okay, cool. So now I want to tap in with my sister Gina over here. Um, been doing some amazing work. I've been happy to, what I'm saying, be on the front line with you. And so right now, in current events, we've been seeing an intensifying amount of, ICE raids, families being separated. Again, I'm an educator. I was in the schools when the kids were not showing up to school, and that affected me. And so, with y'all being on the front line, truly supporting your community, and everybody across the board, whether they're Chicano or not, how has this been affecting the communities that y'all serve?
Man, that's a really important question, sister. Um, right now we're seeing a lot of troubling times for our communities. Not just the immigrant communities, but just the brown communities in general. With the Supreme Court ruling that it was not, well, that is now legal to racially profile basically Spanish communities, because specifically in that Supreme Court ruling, it said that law enforcement officers are now able to, even if they hear the Spanish speaking language, they're able to pull somebody over or stop them. And it was specific in the verbiage, sis.
Mhm.
Because people can say, oh, well, that's just for everybody in general, right? No, that's specifically for Spanish speaking communities. It's what's in the law now, is that you're now able to go after those specific people. So, you'll hear a lot of rhetoric, oh, well, it's everybody. No, no, it's specifically our communities. So we're trying to navigate through a lot of fear mongering, a lot of fear um, in our communities. So right now, what we're trying to push is a lot of community organizations for us that have the ability to go out and just do simple acts as like grocery shopping, right? We are encouraging community members to do that, to get to know your neighbors. Right now, more than ever, it's important that we come together as community, especially in like the Latino or quote unquote Latino or Hispanic communities. And I say quote unquote because a lot of us are waking up. A lot of us are like, you know what? Those are labels that the white government gave us, right? That's what they classified us. But we're from this land. Our ancestors have been here thousands of years. So we're between that and trying to navigate through all the fear. It's a battle, but it's not a battle that's too big for us,
Yeah.
I see a lot of Brown Beret chapters across the country doing a lot of good things, whether that's food drives, whether that's ice watches, picking up groceries, picking up kids from school. We got a brother right now that's taking about 4 kids to and from school in the morning and the afternoon, because people are, those parents don't have they don't have documentation or whatever.
Mhm.
So it's things like that.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's powerful, and I mean, I can only imagine, you know, having to always, worry about your family members or even you. Just you just don't know, and so
Yeah,
I
we're
can.
seeing we're seeing an uprising, them even arresting American citizens, people born here just based off the color of their skin, just because they're brown and they look Hispanic.
Yeah.
Showing up to jobs and daycares. More recently, now it's the kids.
Yeah.
So
And so Houston, we're in Houston. Houston is an interesting place, especially when it comes to the Houston Police Department. And we've been seeing a lot of people running around here with jeans and Vans and vests. We don't know who these people are. So, but we do know that I don't think people. I think we know, but I don't know if people really realize how coordinated local police is and ICE is together. Can you shed some light on that? If you have any insight in how this relationship works?
yes, absolutely. So recently, in the last few weeks, um, I call him Hot Wheels Abbott. He, as any marginalized communities in Texas, we already know how vile and vicious and evil that man is. He doesn't like anybody that's not white and rich. So more recently, he went ahead and made a government contract with the police department to work with ICE agencies. Not only that, but he held a huge hiring event there. I think it was in Dallas. I can't remember where exactly, but it was really big. We had some of our comrades from the Dallas DFW Berets out there protesting. But he's really trying to make it very apparent that
Yeah,
law enforcement is on the side of ICE. And they're working together hand in hand. All the cities, I think, except El Paso. El Paso has been the last city that's been kind of holding out and telling Abbott, basically to shove it because they're not going to work with him, the police department.
Yeah.
but he's making it law that they have to work with ICE.
And with the other guy, who I mean, I think I guess he's y'all president because he's not my president. But the other guy that's in office right now, with everything that he has going on in the Trump administration, how do you see the current political climate affecting Mexican and Central American communities in Houston?
Oh man. Okay, so I live in, I won't say exactly where I live, but
Yeah.
I live in a predominantly uh Hispanic area in Houston, and my locality, exactly where I'm at specifically, it's nothing but Central American people. When I tell you it's quiet, it's quiet. You're not hearing kids laughing. The park is, I live right next to the park. The park now, the noise has gone down sufficiently, so there's not even, you don't hear people playing basketball anymore. You don't hear kids at the skate park. Like, um, but what I do love about where I live specifically is that people are really coming out for community. So we watch out for each other. You know, if we see law enforcement, now even the kids, it's so sad, but even the kids the other day were coming off the bus and they saw the ice vehicles, and the kids will go alert all the people in the complex where we're at.
Wow.
So it's the times we're living in right now.
Wow. Um, and this question is for the both of you. I would love for both of you to answer. What do you believe the public misunderstands the most about immigration deportations or undocumented life? I know, people are on TikTok making videos. People got the comments. It's just and saying all different kind of dumb stuff. They don't even know what they're talking about, or just projecting, or they're just riding the Trump train. Um, Again, what do you believe people misunderstand about?
I, I think the misunderstanding comes from their colonized mindset.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about indigenous people here. These indigenous people have been migrating these lands for tens of thousands of years before those fake borders were put up. Yeah, they're viewing from a colonized lens. It's not their fault. Just the way the system has gotten to their head. But brown indigenous people have the right to migrate. This is where the Creator put us. This is our homeland. Let it be, you know, before any white man border, we were migrating these lands. We were living off these lands. We're building communities off these lands. And that's what when I hear this, especially coming from other brown people, man, that's like, what the fuck's wrong with this vato? But
No, oh, trust me, I understand.
yeah,
You want to be your own people, okay?
yeah,
It's okay.
people to come at you, man. I'm
Um,
just here in Houston. My family's been here for 4 generations. That's just Houston alone. But I still get looks. You see me in person. I'm a little short, brown, complected. It looks like I could be straight from the jungles of Guatemala. You know,
yeah,
but yeah, I get looked down. Hey, man, do you speak English? Yeah, shit, man, it's craziness, man. That's profile. I get profiled real easy.
yeah,
Profiled real easy, and racial profiling from your own people too. You know, they assume things. But yeah, one of the reasons why we prefer the Chicano identity, because it's two reasons. It's an identity we chosen for ourselves, and it's also identity that says we're home. We're indigenous to this continent.
yeah,
Three, it's a political identity.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's why I prefer Chicano other than Hispanic and Latino.
yes,
Says, hey, we're from here. We're indigenous. We've been migrating these lands forever, and we're not going nowhere. Because what's going on is the white man's afraid that they're going to lose their power because the land,
exactly.
y'all came here and y'all murdered millions and millions of indigenous people.
Yeah,
You're
Hmm.
witnessing is the land healing itself. It's repopulating itself with the brown
hmm.
indigenous people that were here. So that's what they're afraid of, and they're not gonna stop it. They can't stop it. They could do whatever they want. It's not gonna work. We're gonna be here for as long as Creator permits us. Que viva la causa.
Que viva.
I know that's right. I know that's right. And so when it comes to the Southeast Texas chapter here in Houston, what kind of community programs or mutual aid are y'all actually doing right now in the community?
With everything going on right now, we're trying to really do like food outreaches. So like I know we have a Thanksgiving on November 29th. We have a Thanksgiving plate giveaway, and then also we're taking donations for any blankets or any clothes, stuff like that. We're trying to be more online present when it comes like to Ice Watch and stuff like that. We're trying to work with more organizations because it can't just be us. It has to be something that we can all do. We can all come together and help in a way, right? Um, there's a variety of different things that we try to post and keeping up with different events like QEP, different organizations, Second Rainbow Coalition, things of that nature.
Awesome. Okay. Y'all be active though. Every time I see y'all, y'all be active and y'all be organized. So I appreciate that. Salute to that. You
No,
know,
thank you. Thank you for always showing up and when you can and showing love. Like I really appreciate you. Like really do, sister.
Yeah, sure.
most definitely. And and that goes to my next question. I love how this is flowing because y'all are just it is flowing into my next question. And just like you said, I believe when I came out to last year to the 10th anniversary, um, I was able to speak, and I said, I know that I could be showing up more and doing my part. Um, whether that's coming to memorial of somebody who passed away, a transition, or whatever it is that's needed. Because people are always talking about, and that's on both sides. Or, oh, somebody's not showing up for this, or they don't show up for us. But it's like when you look at your own people, y'all not even showing up. So why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? And so it gets going into my next question. How can the Black and Brown community in Houston strengthen alliance building and solidarity? And before I even get to that, I don't want to go that hard. But if we really want to go back, to ancestry, we really been doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had the opportunity to live in a part of Mexico for a short period of time for about 2 years. And so I was getting so many downloads and so much information. I just started doing research because it was something was just telling me to do some research about certain things. And when you come to find out, the second president was half African. He abolished slavery in Mexico. I mean, we were working together. I mean, I've had some of the Mayan people say, we work the lands together. Whatever land you work was your land, and we're the same. And when I hear that, I'm like, damn, we've been colonized so bad. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so, how can we come together as a whole? I mean, as a nation, but specifically here in Houston, Texas, because you got a lot of people saying, certain things are not their fight and it's not their problem, and vice versa. And I also want to hear from y'all.
That's a good question. That's a real good question there. How can we come
Cause
together?
I'll be on their ass too. I'll be on everybody's ass. I'll be like, everybody needs to do something.
I think to come up with that answer, there needs to be a panel of us. Unless you could answer that, Gina, because I can't.
Yeah, I can. Because I'm really active on TikTok when it comes to like Black and Brown and Indigenous unity, right? And we were hearing just specifically, I think I thought in my eyes it was like a TikTok thing because me, you, and Willie know in real life we do work together. Like we do work together. So I think it was this
Deep.
just weird online shit. So um I think that if we first of all we're fighting the same oppressor.
Yeah.
And if we don't show up and show out for each other, who's going to? Because little Karen and Billy, they're gonna show up to their stuff. They're
Hmm.
going to make sure that they're going out and voting these crazy right wing Republican, bills and stuff like that. They're going to go do those things for their communities, but they're not going to come to our communities. They're not going to do stuff for us. We have to. We've been in this fight, like you said, sister, for so long, pre-colonial times,
And
right?
and we're in the same community now in Houston, in
Yeah.
Fifth Ward, Second
We
Ward,
live
whatever,
next to
Third
each
Ward.
other. We live next to each other. We party next to each other. We party with each other. We're doing stuff in the communities together. Our kids are growing up with each other.
Yeah,
Like, so it would be, for me, it would be really disingenuous if we didn't work together.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense for us not to show up for each
Because
other.
guess what? There's also, there are people who I know right here in Houston who are, first generation American, but they're Jamaican. They're worried about their family too. There's other Korean people worried, and so it just like while we're talking about this isn't our fight, it's everybody's fight. You know, and that's what makes us, people talk about race, but one human race, because we all have a fight. Because as soon as something that they don't like happens, they're gonna be fighting for some stuff, and they're gonna want you to show up to their stuff too. So I definitely understand that.
And you know what, I like two prime examples, and I can say because they're a little bit more mainstream, so people can connect with it more. I remember when George Floyd, when that happened, we all showed out for each other, right? And
Yeah,
then remember when Vanessa Guillen got murdered?
yeah,
We had a huge, huge outcome from the Black community as well. We've been showing up for each other. We just have to continue that momentum and not forget that, and not let uh, racist white ideology get in the middle of that. And I think a lot of us on both sides of the aisle take up these white supremacist talking points that don't belong to us.
hmm.
That's true. Yeah. And the Southeast Texas Brown Berets always made it a point to stand in solidarity with the Black brothers and sisters since our
Yeah.
beginning. Since our beginning, we've always made it a point. We get invited, we're gonna try our best to be there. You know,
That's
we,
true. That's true. Absolutely.
so we've worked with we worked with pretty much I think maybe just about every Black organization that we know of in Houston.
Yeah,
So
y'all
yeah,
do. Y'all do show up when y'all cannot, and we appreciate that.
we
Um,
we are
now,
cause,
oh, go
stand
ahead.
for our liberation. We
Yeah, the original Black Panthers that are still here in Houston, National Black United Front.
hmm,
Come
Mm.
on, Huey P. Newton Gun Club, All Neighbors Powerfully United. That's what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
go on. So we've been doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been doing this with the Black
We've
community.
been doing this. That's what I'm talking about. And so now I want to get into we're going on getting towards the end, but now I want to get into some healing, some self-care, some mental health, because I know it takes a lot when you're organizing, when you're planning for a lot of people. It can be emotionally, mentally, and spiritually draining. How do you, as Brown Berets, as Indigenous people, which I know means you're spiritual people, practice self-care individually and then within your organization?
You heard that, Gina?
Yeah, sure. So for me, well, I'll start with like individually. For me, I make sure that burning my medicine, so whatever that may look like, and not in that way, not like any, but when I say burning medicine, like sage, other herbs like that, to cleanse my home, cleanse my energy, calm me down. We have our copal, we have different things that we do as indigenous people to make sure that our energies and our auras are okay, right? I make sure that I'm surrounding myself by strong, like-minded people, right? So if I'm having a hard day or if I'm feeling really discouraged, I have my little village that I can call up and say, you know what, this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And that I know that they lead with spirit, and that great spirit leads through them, and that they give me wise and sound advice. And that's what I do on a personal level, like just individually. And then as a group, we don't do it as much as we probably should, and Willie can attest to this. But we've done like healing circles. We've done temeshkali. Temeshkali
Yeah.
is like inipi, it's
Mhm.
sweat lodge. We've done that before. So that's something that we would like to tap into a little more, especially as Indigenous people. We must take care of our spirit first. If our spirit is not good, then we cannot be no good to anybody else around us.
We also got to remember this is not just a physical war; this is a spiritual war,
Correct.
Absolutely.
and and those who speak up for the people are the chosen ones. So we're
Come
gonna
on.
act spiritually and mentally. So we got to stand strong, stay with the medicine, stay in prayer. We have to, because we need to protect our spirit.
Yeah.
This is also a spiritual war.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when we say pray, I just want a disclaimer so people who might be watching or listening later on, we don't mean like your Christian Judeo pray to like Jesus, right? Like me specifically, when I say pray, I'm talking like about, grandfather creator, Mother Earth. I'm talking about the Great Spirit, right? My abuelos and my abuelas, which is, like grandmother moon and father sun. They're all around us. Everything is around us. As Indigenous people, we understood this. We were very spiritual beings, and they came and colonized us. So when I say pray, I mean pray to everything that's around me, my ancestors that speak to me every day. Great, like I said, great spirit creator, because they guide us, and our ancestors have fought before, maybe not this very specific fight with political administrations, but they've fought their own battles within them, their lifetime. And I believe, and I truly believe that they give us what we need to fight now in the present day. And that goes for our Black brothers and sisters, same
Yeah.
thing. You guys have a beautiful rich history, and you know that, sis, you know that.
Yeah. That's powerful. Absolutely. Hey, like I say, I'm in solidarity with you. I already know what it is. People are still waking up. You know what I'm saying? Well, hopefully, we can continue to do our thing so they can know what's going on. And so, y'all, my next question to you all is as I think I saw Gina a few months ago. You went to tap in with some younger, new, you know, Chicano young men and women who are joining the movement. Um, for our younger Chicano brothers and sisters wanting to get involved in the movement, where should they start?
So if they want to get involved with us, I think the best bet right now would to be to send us something on our Instagram, which is SE Tejas Brown Berets,
Mhm.
um, and just shoot us a message. Shoot us a message, and we'll start the application process, the vetting process. We're seeing, especially with this administration and the political climate that we're in now, we're seeing an uproar in people trying to, fight and be in the front lines for their people and be a voice for their people. So that would be the best way, I think.
I agree. I totally agree.
And how can people in the community right now support you? With any events you have going on, any programs, how can people in the community support the Southeast Texas Brown Berets?
I would say the same thing. Follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
or Willie and myself on Facebook. But I would say for sure Instagram, because it's not private, it's public, and right there we always post what we're doing, the activities that we're doing in the community. That way people are up to date with what's going on and what we're doing.
Okay, sounds good. And Brother Willie, this question is for you. Um, what message do you have for the listeners, especially our brown brothers and sisters? What you want them to walk away with tonight after this conversation? Just with the way everything is going on, what do you want people to walk away with in their mind and their spirit um, when we fight the good fight for our liberation?
Message to my brown brothers and sisters is to get involved. We have to stay humble. You know, someone fresh from the border, your ancestor that crossed the border. I could trace an ancestor that crossed the border, fake border. I hate to even use that. But four generations. But I stay humble. You know, I'm an American citizen now. I don't got to worry about that. That's their issue. No, it's our issue. We have to
Yeah.
each other and be there for each other. You know, we have to stay humble. You know, you have an ancestor to cross that border, so don't fake the funk. Don't pretend. You know, just stay humble and stand up for your people. Be that voice, because as a United States citizen, you have a voice that our primas don't have. So use it. Use it. If you care, use it. That's the message I have. Stand up. You know, culture's beautiful. We have a beautiful culture. You know, we organize around our culture, but we got to get together politically.
Yeah.
Polit-
Yes.
Mm.
Politically, be involved and be involved with our indigenous brothers and sisters as well. But yeah, to stay involved, be involved.
And you, Gina?
Man, that's a hard one to follow up on. So I would say, quit being assimilated. You've up until whatever age you are right now, if you're not on the same wavelength as us three up here on this interview, everything that you've been told thus far is a lie, right?
Mm.
You're at who you are, your identity, your people, your language. It's all been colonized, and on purpose. On purpose, they did that to our ancestors on purpose, because what happens when you strip somebody's identity, when you
Right.
take them and you take their language, you take who they are, now it's easier for them to follow you, and it's easier for them to just be your little robots and assimilate to what you want and your agenda. So my thing would be wake up, and don't be assimilated anymore. You're way more than you think you are.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I agree with that. I want to mention had a post a few weeks ago on how the black culture is inspired the Chicano culture.
Yeah.
Gotta admit that too. You know, shit, the music we listen to, the oldies. You know, so like I say, we've been working together. We've been dancing.
Man, look, growing up, my mama say, "Man, them just our cousins. Them our cousins." And I'm like, they are my cousins. You know what I'm saying? And so I've always, had that in my heart. And you know, in the times that we have going on, we're seeing, we just had like a weird stop with the food stamp benefits and different little things like that. Like more than ever, we need to be supporting each other. We're neighbors, and I just think that we need to continue to keep doing the work. And I appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna keep showing up where I can. And this was a powerful conversation. I hope somebody is listening. I hope people learn some new information, some new history, and I hope you take this with you and you do something with it and not just talk about it. We got a lot of people talking, but when you tell them to get up off their ass, they can't do it. So
And let it be known, if you want to have a sit down with us, if you have any type of issue with us, we're willing to sit down.
yeah.
Any organization out there, that's just
Absolutely.
that's where we stand. You know, the Brown Berets, we're from the streets, so we still follow that code. So I'm sorry for using your platform on this, but
No, you good. No,
yeah,
absolutely.
the
That's
South.
important and that's powerful because a lot of times, when there's organizations, uh, different people doing different things, and the egos and different little stuff just get involved, and it defeats the purpose of what we're supposed to be doing together.
Hmm.
So I absolutely understand. And sometimes, it be something that's said or something that's done, and we end up
Right.
falling out, and there's really no need for that. When all we can do is just come together and sit down,
And talk about it instead of getting on.
talk about it. I apologize and move on, and so we can continue to build instead of making more enemies within your community. That's crazy. So
Go back and forth on the internet, but if you want to have a respectful sit down, Southeast Texas Brown Berets are open for that.
that's real, and that's anybody. That's any organization.
Yep.
HPD, Elemental P, and everybody else.
Yep.
But thank y'all so much to the both of you, Brother Willie, Sister Gina. Like I said, I'll be supporting y'all at the food giveaway. And until then, it's all love, peace, and power. Y'all stay on the backstage while we in this stream. Peace.
Peace. All power. All
All
power to the
power.
people.